These are coho that have been born that are right now just gorging themselves.
Okay.
So they'll be 2 to 4 pounds. Best eater there is, though, in my opinion.
What about like size-wise?
Like
Still
this.
pretty-
Oh, they're big fish. We got one right here. Come on, Graham.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
For Jason and Coleen Lee, the plan was simple. Buy a nice little secondhand boat to use on their local waters of Puget Sound. Little did they know that in just over a year's time, they would find themselves in the charter business, taking visitors to Seattle out for a day of salmon fishing aboard their brand new Jeanneau NC 895. But that's exactly what happened. Hi, this is Paul Fenn with another edition of Jeanneau Underway.
Yeah, so we're actually leaving out of Shoal Bay Marina right now. It's the second largest marina on the West Coast. So 1,800 slips total. Out in front of
When Jason and Coleen first set out to find the perfect boat, they soon realized that their initial budget of $10,000 wasn't going to get them very far.
on my search, $10,000 was the budget. That was the original, when we started looking for a boat. That was the budget, $10,000. I didn't know anything about what you could buy. So then we quickly realized, no, you cannot. So then we saw a 21-foot, and it was for sale. It was being brokered here in Seattle. And I just fell in love with the lines and how cool the boat was. So I made an offer on it, and the guy called me back, and I'm like, well, we decided to come up another $10,000. He's like, well, it's too late. They sold it last night.
And he was crushed.
I was crushed. So I was like, can we still come out? It was on Bainbridge Island. They're like, can we go look at it? And he's like, sure, you guys can come out and see it. So he took us over there, showed us the boat, and she was just kind of like, not so great. But I still thought it was
heartbroken.
great.
So that same afternoon, we had an appointment at Sundance.
And then when we got there, that's when we saw the 795.
That's right.
And
And
you
I said, now we're talking.
What is that? So one step on the boat, and she was like, now we're talking.
They would end up buying the 795 and soon made it their home away from home, spending as much time as possible aboard and falling in love with not only the boating lifestyle, but the boating community as well. They fished, they lounged, and discovered the unspoiled beauty of the San Juan Islands.
From November of 17, actually the end of November of 17 through, we'll call it November of 18, we put 300 hours on that boat. I would run out and fish for 2 to 3 hours before work, then run home, take a shower, and go to work.
Well, our very first overnight was down to Gig Harbor and went to, well, the Tides Tavern is there, but Gig Harbor was our overnight, and just a nice hour-and-a-half jaunt. And then we did, like he said, the 2 trips to the San Juans for a week each, and loved that. And it was a great size for us, the 2 of us on it for a week. We could have gone 2 weeks.
Yeah, I had never been there, and so I was just like taken away by I didn't even know that stuff like that existed. So I'd never been there, and then I was just absolutely blown away.
The beauty.
The beauty, the people, and that's the other thing, the boating community is such a fun.
Everybody's friendly.
You know, everybody's happy and kind, but I will say we got asked everywhere we went, what is that? That first year, because there really was not, there was only, that I know of, there was only 3 795s in the water up here at that time. By the next year, they were everywhere. Everywhere we looked, there was a...
Well, I would say everywhere, but I think it's like when you buy a new car, you see your car
there's a
everywhere.
795.
So we see them, but people still will be like, what kind of boat is that? What is that? You know, this boat or whether it be that boat. No one, it's just not a common Northwest boat yet. but we're trying to get the word out because we love it.
While Jason and Coleen loved the NC 795, they soon discovered they would like a bit more room. So after just 1 year, they decided to trade up for the NC 895. And not only that, they became so hooked on spending time on the water that they took things a step further and formed a salmon fishing business where they got hooked even more.
So we've joked about it, you know, like
Maybe
actually
5 years down the road.
5 years down the road, doing a charter, you know, running guided salmon fishing trips. And, you know, I spent time with all the charters in the marina. And I guess the funny thing was we had bought this boat and we went down to look at what slip we were going to put it in. So we were picking a slip out. Then I ran into one of the other charters and he's like, "What are you doing over here?" And I said, "Well, we got a new boat." And he's like, "When are you going to be a charter?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, that's a long ways away." And he's like, "Well, you got the amount of time on the water. He's like, you should go to captain school and get your captain's license, and that way that's done." And was it the next day?
It was within
either the
2
next
days.
day or the day after. He calls me out of the blue. So in Washington, there's only 125 salmon charter licenses in the whole state. So there's no more sold or anything like that. So to get one, either somebody has to die or retire from them. So it was either the next day or the day after, I got a phone call, and it was the guy I was talking to on the dock, and he says, "One's for sale." And so I was actually at Sundance at the time, and I was trying to call her, and just like,
Couldn't get a hold of me.
I called her like 4 times.
So
I
you
said,
made the decision.
"I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna make the decision
And
myself."
Then within days too, you went to get gas, and at the gas dock there was a sign for captain school starting in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And there was space available. So it was the universe saying, maybe this is supposed to happen sooner than it was going to, and it all happened.
It all came together. So that's how it really happened.
Today, Jason spends his days aboard the Coleen Marie, taking people visiting Seattle out for a day of fishing, or a day of whale watching, or simply for a ride down the coast. In fact, the business has become so successful that he's thinking about adding a second boat.
So anyways, we literally, so Seattle has a lot of tourism. So I've had customers from Texas. My wildest customers were from Northern Ireland. It's
all been all over the board.
Just all over the board. But everybody who gets on the boat is just like blown away. Every person who steps foot on this boat is just like, wow.
And the nice thing about the chartering too, he can do salmon, or we're also doing some just social, what would you call it? More like
do some city tours,
tour
like
charters
downtown at night.
That's not fishing involved, and you did one a couple nights ago and doing another one.
It's really taken
a
off.
lot faster than
it went way faster than any of us even anticipated. So I thought I would just, plug along this year, but it's really taken off.
Mark Twain was fond of the saying, "Find a job that you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life." For Jason, it's pretty clear that he's found that job.
Coho is a smaller breed of salmon. King is that's the Chinook salmon. So
they're two different
species of fish. 2 different species.
Well, I certainly enjoyed spending time with Jason and Coleen and hearing their story. They are certainly having a grand adventure. For the Jeanneau channel, this is Paul Fenn, and I'll see you next time right here on Jeanneau and Away.
We're gonna take a minute, jump up on step, and head on out.